Well, my voice has been a little bit weak these last few weeks, the last month or so. I haven't been able to. I've been saving my voice for preaching on Sundays a good bit, but it's better now. I'm talking low because we're in the tree stand this morning. Just how glorious it is to wake up with the world, um, to come out here in the darkness, watch the sun come up over the mountains, to hear the birds start to chirp one by one at different levels of daylight. And then when the sun begins to warm things up a little bit, uh, they get their little bodies active a little more because they've warmed up from being chilly overnight. They start getting into the weeds, getting after seeds and getting after berries and all the different things. And we still have some bugs around, even though it's gotten chilly a couple nights. But when it gets warm, the bugs start to move, and then they'll move up higher into the trees. It's just a it's just a wonderful thing for me to be part of. To see a little buck there this morning eating in the grass there in front of the blind. Hooked up the trigger to the bow and thought about, especially after he kind of circled around me a couple times, thought about maybe sticking an arrow in him. It wasn't quite, but I didn't feel like it was quite time. Maybe if I'd had the crossbow, it would have been a little easier. Then I would have maybe taken that shot. But the position that he was at, trying to get my bow pulled back, wasn't the best. So I didn't take that shot. He was just a little fella anyway. I mean, probably nice sized body. So we decided not to take him. But really, it's just about being out here. I think I'm mostly a bird watcher now. I've just been thinking, um, all these different emotions that we have, all these different things that are going through us. I think one of the things that hurts us the most is rejection, and we we want to be friends with people. We want people to love us. We want our family to love us. And when we see someone who we would want to be our friend, um, and they're not really interested in being a friend with us, or we give advice to our children and we see that advice go in one ear and out the other, and we get frustrated by that. And as a pastor, you prepare these lessons and you put things together, and you never know. You never know if anybody's getting what you're trying to communicate or not, and that leaves a big hole sometimes inside of you. And I think just as a Christian person, we get frustrated. We try to spread the gospel message, and we want so deeply for people to get it. We want so deeply for people to understand what we're trying to tell them and what we've experienced in our own lives, and hope and pray for something to change in their lives. Um, that rejection is difficult, and I didn't take the time to memorize it, but I know I'm going to pull it up on the screen. John 15:18. Um, the world rejected Jesus. The world continues to reject Jesus, and we see all this war around us, and we pray for peace. And I want a season of peace. I know ultimately there will be war to end all wars, and Jesus will uh, take over, and eventually this world will be done away with, and there will be a new heaven and a new earth. But right now, here we are on this earth, and we see all this war and things around us. And I pray for a season of peace. I pray for restoration. I don't want to see a massive war. I don't want to see those atrocities that are going on over there in the Middle East and in Ukraine and in Africa and all those countries. I don't think people realize as gruesome as some things that happen here are. Um, we have it so nice here compared to other parts of the world, and God has blessed us with a system of government and an attitude that still brings us together. That we just generally don't have the same worries that they have. Sure, there's evil here, the same as there's evil there. We don't we don't wake up with that thought, and I hope we never do. I just pray that my children and grandchildren never have to experience those things. But just back to the idea of rejection, we can just take the gospel message to people and pray for them and hope that it uh, finds a place inside of them that would compel them to ravens, crows, that would compel them to change the way they live, to be different, to find that peace that I'm still searching for. I don't have absolute peace in my life. This moment out here, listening to the ravens, listening to the Carolina wrens, uh, having some warblers pass through me, this wonderful weather that we have. See a little deer in front of me this morning. God brings me to peace at places like that. Brings me to peace when we're having a little pap nap with one of the grandkids. Look back at the appreciation of what God has given me. I don't really know what I'm trying to tell you this morning. I'm just trying to say that if the world rejects Jesus, then you shouldn't expect any more from yourself. Whether you're a believer or not, you're going to be rejected by the world. And you can't force anybody. You can't take a sledgehammer. You can't take a baseball bat, a knife, or a gun, and you can't force them to follow you. You can't force them to love you. You can't force them to heed your advice. Um, if they turned away the creator of the universe, and you have no level of righteousness that's going to cause someone to love you with such great intensity that you desire. I desire it. I desire people to like me, to love me. Um, I know that I need people to celebrate me when I walk into a room, and I guess I'm not the only one because on a recent thing that Savannah showed me on Bluey, season three, episode 14 or 17 of Bluey. The episode's called Perfect, and the dad is saying that he requires everyone to have a party when he enters the room and shout and holler and celebrate him. I have that inside of me. I have that need for people to like me, to love me, to adore me. And that rejection for me goes deep inside, and it can cause, that black dog to come up and bite your ankles. And I struggle with that. I read and I study and I try to figure out, how do I change that about me? I don't know how to change it about me, but I can take comfort that if Jesus Christ, the creator of the universe, only had a small group of people that followed him and loved him, a very small group of people, And I'm not, none of us are anywhere close to that. We're not perfect. But how could I expect the world to look at me any differently? John 15:18. Paraphrasing because I didn't memorize it, but um, if the world hates you, know that it hated me first. So, especially as a believer, we're going to be different from the world. You should expect to be rejected. And with that rejection, we should draw closer and closer to Him. I don't know if this does you any good today. I just know it's something I struggle with, and I see a lot of social media posts and Facebook posts about people struggling. I know the only answer for me is to bend my knee to Him, put away my pride, put myself before Him, and say, Lord, I need you. I need you in this moment. I need you now. Hey, look, love y'all, man. Just have a good day. Hit your knees and pray. Hug those babies. Hug those mamas and daddies. Just appreciate what God has given us. Look how glorious it is.